Hey friends, in this video we're gonna talk about these three cutting boards that I gave away 1 year ago. I wanted to test how hard epoxy really is, so I handed them out to 3 families with kids so they could use them in their daily lives. There was only one rule: don't put the cutting board in the dishwasher. So let's get right to it. Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's start with the big one. So this one was actually sanded to about 240, so it has never been polished. It was meant to be a little milky like you see here, but let's look for some scratch marks. And as we can see, there's lots of them here, probably from knives when they have been used as cutting boards. We also have some from knives down here, if we can see it in the light. Yeah, it's go right through that. Yes, and there's no upside or downside to this board, so if we flip it around we can see we got some more from knives here going all the way up in the epoxy here. If we feel it, you can feel the coat. The Robio monocoat is not here anymore. It's like the soap and the hot water has taken it off. I have a new one here, completely new one, and it feels soft. It feels nice to touch. And this one feels a little more rough, like it's hard. So I think that's because the coat has been, yeah, it's gone now. Okay, let's look at some of the others. We got one more here, and again we see very clearly some scratch marks from knives all around here, and we have a big one up here, and down here we have someone too. And again, I got the same feeling. This one is a little more soft, a little more sweet, but I think the coat is gone too. The last one, oh yeah, that's been abused, as we can see all the way around here. But the strange thing about this one is there are so many cuts in the wood, but if you look at the epoxy, there's almost no one. You can see someone continues from the wood to the epoxy right here and here. It actually did fine. It did a good job, the epoxy, because the wood is really damaged. It's like it's been abused. So this one definitely needs some help. And yes, it's rough. It needs a new layer of coat. It's clearly needs a new layer. Let's take all 3 cutting boards, jump right into the workshop and sand them down. See if we can get these scratch marks away and give them a new layer of coat, and hand them right back to the families again. So I'm using my Boss 75 150, which is a powerful tool. I know many woodworkers and epoxy workers, they stick to the fist tool, but I did a lot of research and I found that this one was better, taking the price into the consideration. For sanding, I'm using the 3M sandpaper. I like this sandpaper because it doesn't have this normal pattern for one specific dust extractor. This sandpaper has tiny small gaps all over the paper, so it's kind of a universal sandpaper. When I start sanding these boards, I'm starting at grit 120. You can go lower than that, but you might make new scratch marks to the epoxy. And as you can see, when I'm sanding, I don't have a specific pattern. I just work it around, going from side to side, up and down. What is important is that you don't force the sander and you don't put any pressure on the sander. If you put pressure from the top of the sander, you might make new marks instead of removing the old one. So I will speed the sanding process up a little bit. It's a good idea to clean it now and then, so you can see if you get all the marks removed. And when you apply water to it, you come close to the same result as it will turn out when you are finished. Like you see here, I got 2 marks that I didn't get removed, so I'll have to sand it a little more. If the video has been helpful for you, I would appreciate you boop the like button. And if you want to see more videos from me in the future, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I have lots of new videos coming up in the future, all about resin, of course, epoxy resin, all from tips and tricks to how you do that and tutorials and stuff like that. So feel free to subscribe. And finally we got rid of the marks. So now it's just to continue with the other 2 bots. Same process, starting off at a grid of 120. And I will speed up the process a little bit so it will go faster. So after we finish the sanding, I would like to give them a bath. I want to erase the greens so I can sand them down too. I don't want to get a board out to a customer. The first time they wash it, they will have the greens to rise. So give them a good bath and let them dry. And it's a good idea to wipe them off with a towel before you set them to dry. So now it's just sanding again and again. And we go to 150. And we will give them a bath again. 180, give them a bath again, and 220. And the green one I will put up to about 400 grit because that's the transparency, so we want them to be a little more clear to really get the colors to pop. I'm using Rubio Monaco Pure for almost all my cutting boards. If you want to use it for your project, then we have this kit that contains everything you'll need. I will leave a link in the description. Oh yeah, and remember to use gloves. My hands really don't like if I'm working with the wax, oils and coats without. They turn red and start to hurt in a few seconds. There are some few ways you can apply the coat. You can pour it onto your product and spray it with a putty. You can use an old towel or shirt, or you can do as I do with a pad and then buff the coat in. All ways are good for applying the coat. The coat is food safe and have a 0 VOC, which makes it awesome for cutting boards. It's just so fascinating. Sit it and watch the coat do the work. The epoxy and the wood just comes to life instantly. That's why I love it so much. Another good thing about it is you only have to sand to about 180, 200. You can go higher if you want, but not necessary, because the Rubio Monaco works fine from about 200. And if you don't like the Pure, Rubio have made more than 50 colors that you can put into the Pure and mix them together, so you can get brown, black, white, sky white, purple, blue. So yeah, this is just my favorite product, and I'm even not sponsored by them. It's really important that you use an old towel and some pads to wipe off the excess coat, and I strongly recommend that you go back to your project after about an hour or so to wipe it again. Let's take a look at them. Now they are dry. And as you can see, this was the catastrophe board that we had before. It's just beautiful. Even the epoxy don't have any scratches anymore. Both sides. So this is definitely ready to go back to the family and get some more beat up. Yeah. Got the other one here. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so there's a little one here in the wood that we could have done better. But the overall, yeah, we got them all removed. Beautiful. And the big one, the last one. This one had some really deep scratches going all along the way. There's a little one here that could have been done better, but again, overall, perfect result. Nothing in the wood too. Flip it around and we see we got everything removed. So this free cutting board is now ready to get back to the families.